Hello, everyone. This is the story of a strong and passionate man whose love for martial arts burned brightly from a young age. He became renowned worldwide for his natural talent and relentless determination to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. Tragically, his life was cut short while he was still young. By now, many of you might already know who I'm talking about, right? None other than the legendary martial artist and global cinematic icon, Bruce Lee. Born in 1940, Bruce Lee was a Chinese-American who founded Jeet Kune Do, a martial arts philosophy blending elements from various fighting disciplines. His teachings are widely regarded as laying the groundwork for modern mixed martial arts, MMA. Bruce Lee captured the hearts of audiences with his powerful, authentic moves in numerous films without relying on cinematic special effects. When we think of this legendary martial artist, we're reminded of classics like The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, The Way of the Dragon, and Enter the Dragon, some of the most iconic movies ever made. These films brilliantly narrated Bruce Lee's journey of chasing his childhood dream. One particular line from his movies left an indelible mark on his Chinese homeland and its people. Though brief, but the statement encapsulated his unwavering determination and resilience. The Chinese are not the weaklings of East Asia. This powerful declaration has since been remembered as a source of inspiration and a tribute to Bruce Lee. A legend in the hearts of the Chinese people, Bruce Lee was also recognized globally. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century. Yet his sudden death in 1973 shocked fans and audiences worldwide, leaving many mourning the loss of such a vibrant star. News of his passing spread rapidly across Hong Kong and throughout Asia. Despite his untimely departure, but Bruce Lee's cultural impact remains undeniable, transcending Asia to influence America and parts of Europe. His martial arts philosophy reshaped how the world viewed Asians, shattering stereotypes and elevating their global image. However, many still wonder about the details of his life and the mystery surrounding his death. Let's take a closer look at Bruce Lee's journey, how he rose to international stardom and became an irreplaceable legend of Asia, and explore the cause of his untimely passing. Bruce Lee's father, Lee Moon-Shuen, was a renowned actor in Hong Kong cinema long before Bruce Lee's rise to fame. Hailing from Guangdong, he was celebrated as one of the four great handsome men of his era. Bruce's mother, Grace Ho, may be less frequently mentioned, but her lineage and accomplishments are not to be overlooked. A Chinese-American, Grace was both a singer and actress raised in the U.S. The couple married in Hong Kong, but due to the war between Japan and China after they relocated to the U.S. to continue their artistic careers. Bruce Lee was born in 1940 at a hospital in San Francisco's Chinatown. His parents hoped that one day their son would pursue a career in the arts in San Francisco. Little did they know that not only would their dreams come true, but Bruce Lee would go on to become a global phenomenon in the international film industry. In 1951, Bruce enrolled at La Salle College, a prestigious institution in Hong Kong. However, he was expelled in the 4th grade due to frequent fights and absenteeism. He then transferred to St. Francis of Assisi College, but his lack of interest in academics persisted. It was during this period that Bruce Lee met his first mentor, the legendary martial artist Yip Man. When Bruce Lee was about 10 years old, he was just a fair-skinned, delicate boy, concerned that his frail son might be unable to defend himself when necessary. Bruce's father personally began teaching him Tai Chi at the age of 7. This seemingly simple decision inadvertently opened the door to Bruce Lee's lifelong journey in martial arts. At the age of 15, Bruce Lee was badly beaten during a sparring session with a friend. Humiliated by the loss, Bruce refused to accept defeat and kept asking for rematches. Eventually, his friend gave in and introduced him to a martial art known as Wing Chun. At that time, there was a renowned martial artist named Yip Man, and without hesitation, Bruce sought him out to become his student. After a few lessons, however, Bruce found Wing Chun's movements too simple and decided to quit. It wasn't until Bruce faced a strong opponent in another match and managed to win using a single Wing Chun move that he realized the true power of the art he had dismissed. This revelation prompted him to return to Yip Man and formally become his disciple. One of Yip Man's top students, Huang Chunyang, who was nicknamed the Teacher of Teachers, played a pivotal role in Bruce's training. As Yip Man's son, Huang served as both a mentor and training companion to Bruce Lee. Over time, Bruce dedicated himself wholeheartedly to mastering Wing Chun, absorbing much of the knowledge and skill Huang imparted. Despite the grueling challenges and pain of training, Bruce's persistence and unquenchable thirst for learning stood out. Even Yip Man himself, highly revered by countless martial artists, held Bruce in great admiration for his talent. After a few years of rigorous training, Bruce's parents decided to send him back to the U.S. when he turned 18. Interestingly, despite being admitted to the University of Washington in Seattle, Bruce chose to major in drama and philosophy rather than pursuing martial arts-related studies. After graduation, Bruce decided to promote martial arts by opening his own martial arts school during his second year of college. Initially, the school was just a small corner in a parking lot. Later, Bruce partnered with his Japanese assistant Takeuchi Kimura, and they moved their classes to a larger space behind a supermarket. Eventually, the school expanded and officially operated from a rooftop in Los Angeles' Chinatown. Some skeptics might think Bruce Lee's abilities were exaggerated by the movies. However, anyone who witnessed him sparring with martial arts masters in real life would recognize his extraordinary talent and unparalleled skills forged through years of relentless practice. On August 4th, 1964, at the age of 24, Bruce Lee returned to Seattle to propose to Linda C. Emery, who was 4 months pregnant at the time, during the International Karate Championships in California. Bruce Lee amazed everyone present with his incredible performance. He had so many matches with world champions that they couldn't all be recorded. However, one particular match made his reputation explode. In 1964, in San Francisco's Chinatown, Bruce faced Wong Jackman, a Chinese martial arts master and world champion. Wong Jackman's dojo was in the same neighborhood as Bruce's, but couldn't compete in popularity or reputation. As a result, Wong's dojo saw a significant decline in students. Frustrated, Wong challenged Bruce to a one-on-one fight. If Bruce lost, he would have to close his dojo. If he won, the matter would be dropped. Initially, everyone thought Wong Jackman was on par with Bruce, setting the stage for an epic battle. On the day of the fight, crowds of martial artists and spectators gathered to witness the spectacle. But unexpectedly, the match ended in just 3 minutes. At that time, Bruce Lee was virtually unstoppable. This victory inspired Bruce to create a new martial arts philosophy. It later became the foundation of Jeet Kune Do, a martial art that combined techniques from various disciplines worldwide. Despite his fame, Bruce Lee never considered himself a professional actor. His true aspiration was to be a dedicated martial artist. However, he recognized acting as an opportunity and worked tirelessly to participate in numerous film and television productions. In 1964, Bruce Lee received an invitation from a Hollywood director to audition for the Green Hornet. In the show, Bruce captivated audiences with his dazzling and dynamic martial arts techniques. His confident and exceptional performance earned him the role of Kato, the sidekick to the titular character, the Green Hornet. Although the series ran for only 26 episodes and had modest ratings, but it brought Bruce Lee into the spotlight, slowly revealing the hidden gem he truly was to viewers. After returning to Hong Kong in 1970, Bruce sought new opportunities for his career. Rumors at the time suggested that he had offended a powerful triad leader named Wong Quan, prompting his decision to return to Hong Kong. Recognized as a talented actor, Bruce was quickly courted by two major Hong Kong film studios, Shaw Brothers and Golden Harvest. Without much hesitation, he chose Golden Harvest. Bruce's first film upon his return was The Big Boss, where his fierce and powerful martial arts scenes became a sensational highlight for promotional campaigns. His career skyrocketed as he starred in Fist of Fury, Way of the Dragon, and other legendary films in the early 1970s, achieving a level of cinematic success that few could dream of. At this time, Bruce and his family decided to settle in Hong Kong. However, Bruce's creation of Jeet Kune Do, a martial art that highlighted the limitations of traditional styles, earned him the ire of many martial arts masters. As a result, wherever he traveled, there were always martial artists challenging him to duels. While some challengers sought genuine competition, others harbored malicious intentions, aiming to severely injure or even kill Bruce under the guise of a fight. Additionally, Bruce made enemies in the film industry because the box office success of his movies often eclipsed their own. He also drew the ire of the Hong Kong triads, especially given their history of forcing him to flee to the U.S. at the age of 19. On May 10th, 1973, Bruce Lee experienced a severe headache and took the painkiller Tragically. Shortly after, he suffered a seizure. His wife, Linda Lee, quickly called a neurologist for help. The doctor managed to stabilize Bruce and performed surgery to remove traces of Tragically from his stomach. The doctor later revealed that Bruce's stomach contained cannabis, though it was unclear when or why Bruce had started using it. One theory suggests that Bruce might have initially tried cannabis to alleviate his headaches, but only to become dependent on it over time. On the same day, producer Raymond Chow visited Bruce to discuss plans for completing Game of Death. Linda kissed Bruce goodbye, saying she had some errands to run and would see him later that evening. Bruce and Chow then went to actress Betty Ting Pei's apartment at 67 Beacon Hill Road, Hong Kong, to discuss her role in Game of Death. They planned to meet Australian actor George Lazenby over dinner to offer him the role of Hai Tian's mentor in the film. While reviewing the script at around 5 p.m., Bruce complained of a headache and asked Betty for a painkiller, unaware that Bruce had been advised to avoid Tragically. Betty handed him a tablet of the strong aspirin-based medication she frequently used. Perhaps overwhelmed by his headache, Bruce seemingly forgot his doctor's warning. Without questioning the pill, he swallowed it and lay down on Betty's bed to rest. Meanwhile, Raymond Chow and George Lazenby met at the restaurant, waiting for Bruce and Betty to join them. However, neither showed up. At 9 p.m., Raymond received a call from Betty, who told him that she had tried to wake Bruce, but he was unresponsive. Raymond Chow rushed to Betty Ting Pei's apartment and tried calling Bruce Lee's personal doctor at least 20 times, but couldn't get through. Left with no choice, he contacted Betty's doctor, who arrived about 20 minutes later. By the time the doctor arrived, Bruce Lee no longer had a detectable heartbeat or breath. The doctor attempted CPR before calling an ambulance to take Bruce to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. However, Bruce wasn't admitted to the hospital until after 11 p.m., a full 6 hours after he had taken the painkiller given by Betty and lay down for a nap. Bruce Lee never regained consciousness. The hospital pronounced him dead upon arrival, stating that he had already passed away before reaching their care. The doctor expressed shock that Bruce had been in a coma for such an extended period that evening, lamenting that Betty hadn't called him sooner. The circumstances of Bruce Lee's death on Betty Ting Pei's bed shocked his wife, Linda Lee. The global media erupted with rumors of an affair between Bruce and Betty. Some speculated that between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Bruce might have engaged in sexual activity with Betty, suffered a fatal case of coitus interruptus, and was left unresponsive when Betty later tried to wake him. In 1975, 2 years after Bruce's death, Betty released a film titled Bruce Lee and I, which depicted their supposed romance. The movie featured numerous intimate scenes between Betty and actor Danny Lee, who played Bruce Lee. Another theory suggested that Bruce was assassinated by the Hong Kong triads, who allegedly forced him to flee to the U.S. at the age of 19. Rumors claimed that Bruce carried a gun whenever he went out in Hong Kong to protect himself. Some believe Bruce's death was caused by a delayed reaction to a death touch technique he allegedly suffered during the filming of Enter the Dragon. This mysterious martial arts strike, according to legend, can cause death days or weeks after being delivered. Speculation about the cause of Bruce Lee's death swept the world, fueling intense debate and countless theories. Ironically, his untimely passing only amplified his fame, making him a global icon in death as he was in life. According to former Hong Kong police detective Philip Chan and official statements from Hong Kong authorities, the final conclusion was that Bruce Lee died from cerebral edema caused by an allergic reaction and overexertion. The coroner described his death as a death by misadventure. The production of Game of Death was delayed by 4 years due to the loss of its leading man. Betty Ting Pei faced blame, death threats from Bruce's fans, and personal guilt, leading to a period of schizophrenia. On July 25, 1973, Bruce Lee's funeral in Hong Kong drew over 25,000 fans and friends to pay their respects. The day after news of his death broke, the coroner's jury unanimously ruled that Bruce Lee had died of a stroke with cerebral edema triggered by medication misuse being the cause. Despite the clarity of the official findings, speculation about the true cause of Bruce's death persisted for years. Dr. Donald Langford, a Baptist preacher and Bruce's physician in Hong Kong, remarked, "No one dies from just one Tragically tablet. No painkiller could have killed Bruce Lee." Similarly, Professor Tier, a forensic expert from Scotland Yard and a cannabis specialist, stated, "The effects of cannabis are unpredictable, but I've never encountered a case where someone died from it. The truth behind the death of this legend may forever remain a mystery." What do you think? Although Bruce Lee's life ended abruptly, but his short time on Earth burned brightly like a lantern piercing the night. His spirit, determination, and unwavering belief in his dreams remain a guiding light for people around the world. Perhaps his story reminds us of how fragile life truly is. Let us take inspiration from Bruce Lee's example, embracing every moment to shine brightly and run boldly on the paths we choose. Do not let regret shadow you, for the key to immortality is to live a life worth remembering.
A humble child born in the obscurity of a small town embarked on a path of crime and became a giant that shook the very foundations of society. That child was none other than Hussein Bey Basin, an innocent boy who transformed into Europe's most notorious drug lord, often compared to Pablo Escobar. By the age of 20, Hussein had already found himself in serious trouble after being caught with cannabis, setting the stage for a life filled with crime. But how did an ordinary boy from Turkey rise to the throne of the European underworld? What drove him to build such a devastating criminal empire? Hussein was born on December 25, 1956 in Lice, a small impoverished town in southeastern Turkey. This region, predominantly Kurdish, was often plagued by economic hardship and political conflict, making the youth vulnerable to being drawn into a life of crime. Hussein's family was no exception. They struggled to make ends meet, which likely influenced Hussein's later choices in life. His first brush with the law came in 1976 when he was just 20 years old. During a police raid at his home in Lice, authorities discovered 11 kilograms of cannabis, a significant quantity that indicated he had already become deeply involved in the drug trade. Lice's proximity to major drug smuggling routes from the Middle East to Europe explains why he became involved in drug trafficking so early on. Hussein may have used his connections to acquire the cannabis, suggesting that he was not just a small-time dealer, but a significant player in the drug trade network. This incident led to Hussein being sentenced to 2 years in prison, but instead of deterring him, his time behind bars exposed him to more criminals and allowed him to learn more about the underworld. Upon his release, he returned more determined and prepared for a larger role in organized crime, eventually becoming one of Europe's most infamous drug lords. Before reaching the pinnacle of his career, Hussein faced numerous betrayals. Many of his former allies became enemies due to power struggles. This forced Hussein to leave the region and seek greater opportunities elsewhere, setting his sights on the United Kingdom. In 1984, Hussein Bey Basin's criminal career escalated dramatically with a significant operation in the UK. During Operation Takedown, he was arrested for heroin trafficking and possession of a fake passport. This operation was coordinated by officers from the Metropolitan Police who had been tracking the movement of heroin from Afghanistan through Turkey into Europe. Hussein was identified as a key figure in this network. His arrest was the culmination of months of surveillance and intelligence gathering. Officers had monitored him after intercepting communications related to large shipments of heroin. He was finally apprehended in a sting operation where undercover officers posed as buyers. This operation was carried out amid growing concerns over the increasing flow of heroin into the UK, which was causing severe social and health impacts. Hussein was tried and sentenced to 12 years in prison. However, his time in the UK was surprisingly short. After just 4 years, he was transferred back to Turkey in a mysterious move. Official documents did not clearly explain the reasons for this transfer, but it is suspected that diplomatic negotiations might have been involved. Hussein's release just 4 months after being transferred from the UK to Turkey in 1989 sparked a wave of rumors and accusations of government corruption. Many believed that there were hidden forces and powerful connections working behind the scenes to secure his early release. However, Hussein's freedom was short-lived. Just 4 days after his release, he was arrested again in Sivas, a city near Istanbul. This time, the charges were more severe: drug possession and illegal possession of firearms. It was clear that Hussein had quickly returned to his criminal ways, seemingly learning no lessons from his time in prison. Reports indicated that at the time of his arrest, Hussein was in possession of a large amount of heroin and an unlicensed gun. It is highly likely that he had arranged to obtain these items while still in prison through his corrupt network, which included local officials. This network allowed him to swiftly resume his criminal activities, highlighting the deep-rooted corruption and the connections he had with other criminals. Despite the seriousness of his crimes, which should have led to a long prison sentence, but Hussein was not held for long. His quick departure from Turkey without further legal trouble demonstrated just how powerful his network was. This network included not only other criminals, but also influential figures in politics and law enforcement, allowing him to manipulate the system to his advantage. However, Hussein's reckless and brazen actions angered many, and the world had yet to witness the peak of his power. After fleeing Turkey, Hussein chose Amsterdam as the strategic base for his heroin empire. The city, known for its large port and position as a key logistical hub in Europe, became the perfect point for distributing heroin across the continent. Choosing Amsterdam was a strategic move, taking advantage of established smuggling routes and the city's relatively lenient policies, and Hussein didn't act alone. While Hussein was busy establishing his drug trafficking network in Amsterdam, his brother, Abdullah Bey Basin, was building a similar operation in North London, another key location that provided access to the lucrative UK market. This strategic regional division between the brothers allowed them to expand their influence and control over the European heroin market. Hussein's empire revolved around the heroin trade originating from Afghanistan, the primary producer of opium, the raw material used to process heroin. The drugs were transported through Iran and Turkey, taking advantage of the loose borders and the chaotic political situation in the region. From Turkey, where Hussein had established close relationships with local power brokers, the heroin was shipped to Amsterdam and from there distributed across Western Europe. This network was not just a drug trafficking enterprise, but a smoothly operating machine, exploiting regional instability in Asia and liberal policies in Europe. Unlike many other drug lords, Hussein was quite open about his criminal activities. He frequently appeared in the media, discussing his operations and his influence in power circles in both Turkey and the Kurdish community. This bold public stance was a double-edged sword. On one hand, it solidified his reputation as a leader unafraid of the law, which may have enhanced his standing in the underworld. On the other hand, this openness provided law enforcement agencies with valuable information to use against him. Interviews and public statements by Hussein painted a portrait of a man full of contradictions, both a cunning businessman and a brutal crime lord. He proudly boasted about his close ties with powerful networks, including NATO officers and the Turkish embassy, whom Hussein claimed had facilitated his drug trafficking operations with ease. Hussein not only built a vast drug empire, but also crafted an image of a smart entrepreneur mixed with the audacity of a notorious gangster. He defied both the authorities and his rivals by maintaining a prominent media presence while still running a large-scale drug smuggling network, showcasing the sophistication and complexity of his control over power and influence in the underworld. Like any empire in the criminal world, Hussein's reign eventually had to collapse. In 1998, his empire came to a dramatic end when Hussein was arrested in the Netherlands in a large-scale operation involving several European countries. This operation, named Operation Nemesis, was the result of collaboration between police forces from the UK, Italy, Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. These agencies had closely monitored Hussein's every move for years, piecing together clues related to the heroin network he operated across Europe. On March 27, 1998, a swift raid took place in a small village in North Holland, the Netherlands. At the location where Hussein was apprehended, authorities found irrefutable evidence linking him to criminal activities, including documents related to money laundering from drug transactions, and even information about a murder he was alleged to be involved in. The charges Hussein faced included conspiracy to commit murder, kidnapping, drug trafficking, and leading a criminal organization. His arrest was a major victory for European law enforcement, demonstrating the power of international cooperation in the fight against drug smuggling and organized crime. The subsequent trial attracted significant public attention. The prosecution's focus was on phone recordings, which clearly captured Hussein discussing drug deals and issuing orders for violent acts. These recordings became a central point of controversy when Hussein's defense argued that they had been tampered with and could not be considered reliable evidence. However, the truth was too clear to deny. In February 2001, Hussein was convicted on multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and drug trafficking. The court sentenced him to life in prison, a sentence reflecting the severity of his crimes and the wealth of evidence collected through wiretaps. The life of a drug lord inevitably comes with its consequences. Since his imprisonment in 2001, Hussein has faced severe mental health issues. Reports indicate that he developed chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and somatization disorder. Hussein's PTSD included severe anxiety attacks, flashbacks, and prolonged psychological distress related to painful experiences both before and after his arrest. Somatization disorder manifested through physical symptoms like pain and discomfort without clear medical causes, believed to be driven by psychological stress. These mental health issues have worsened over time, significantly impacting Hussein's ability to function daily and his interactions with prison staff and other inmates. He has undergone multiple psychiatric evaluations and requires special medical interventions within the prison system. Despite being incarcerated, rumors that Hussein continued to control his drug empire never died down. It is believed that through encrypted communications and visits, he was still able to issue orders and manage operations from behind bars. Moreover, his family, particularly his siblings and close associates, are believed to have played an active role in maintaining the organization's operations. The involvement of his family ensured that even while imprisoned, Hussein's power remained intact, allowing him to continue controlling the drug trade from the shadows. Although Hussein's claims are difficult to verify, but law enforcement agencies across Europe have not taken them lightly. This reflects the deep infiltration of the criminal networks Hussein had skillfully built and the challenges of completely dismantling such organizations. One shocking aspect of Hussein's case is his claim that his criminal activities were not only tolerated, but also sponsored by the Turkish government. According to him, this cooperation was not voluntary, but was coerced, involving collusion at the highest levels of government. Hussein alleged that powerful figures within Turkish politics and law enforcement not only permitted, but sometimes directed his drug trafficking operations, turning them into part of sophisticated geopolitical strategies. These bold statements suggest that Hussein's criminal empire did not serve only his interests, but also acted as a tool for the hidden political and economic agendas of Turkish officials. These allegations sparked numerous investigations, but uncovering concrete evidence has proven extremely difficult due to the thick veil of corruption, politics, and international intrigue. The continued surveillance of Hussein's network, even while he is imprisoned, demonstrates the European agency's determination to root out the drug empire he operated. However, this case also highlights the significant challenges these agencies face, from jurisdictional limitations and differences in legal systems to the need for intelligence sharing and coordinated action on a global scale. The fight against Hussein's criminal empire is not just a battle against an individual, but against a complex and powerful criminal system. What do you think about this story? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below for everyone to see. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support me. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.